Chapter 3: Psychological Aspects of Ethics in Relation to Human Development. The problematic of ethics begins with the relation between the adults in charge of the child and the child itself, that is to say, the way in which the adult appears before the child in its double role. The first, to inscribe or engrave sexuality. What does this mean? It means how the adult helps the child to establish its affective relationships with itself and with the environment, and at the same time, what role these adults respond to for the child to build its gender and its sexual identity. In turn, the adult has another role, to guide the limits of intrusion on the body of the child. The adult, through care and words, libidinizes the child's body, which will allow the infant's survival. Secondly, the child's access to culture through language and love. Ethics is present here in the same sense as Emmanuel Levinas' sense, in recognition of the presence of a fellow man. The fellow man inscribes a rupture in my selfishness. The child's body is bounded as a place of enjoyment to the extent that the adult expresses love to the child in the terms of ethics. We could say a subliminated love, able to take into account the other and to consider the other as another in his subjectivity. Moving on to slide number 10. The child cries because it has discomfort, because it feels displeasure. But in order for this crying to become a message, another human is necessary to receive it and transform it into something that needs to be answered. In the United States, there is a trend of upbringing, of education, that suggests it is not necessary to respond to the call of a child as a way to educate it, so that it doesn't create dependence of the child, nor the enslavement of the adult towards the child. The problem is that in the absence of the response, the interhuman message is not established. There is a specialist in neuropediatrics named Tellis who presented a video which shows a child crying, and the mother repeatedly does not respond. For a long time, the baby cries intensely until the crying stops. This example shows that a message cannot be formed if there is no recipient. A message may not have a transmitter. For example, it is raining. And I understand that it is a blessing from God. God didn't necessarily send me the message, but the message is not established if there is no one who receives it and can decode what is happening. This decoding will be an interpretation that the receiver will make not on any rule, but on the basis of his own desire or his own anguish. For example, in the case of a baby, there must be an adult who decodes the crying. He's hungry, he is cold, he is tired. So what we are interested in here is the coding in terms of transcription to the language of biological needs. That is, the baby is not hungry. What the baby has is a feeling of displeasure. There is an adult who translates that feeling as hunger.